Hello, this is one of the very few YouTube videos that I actually make, but I'm going to be showing you a few DIY clothes that I made, and I don't have like before after pictures or what I was doing during, because during that time when I was making them, my phone had broken because I dropped it in the toilet, but they're pretty cool. And I made this also really amazing choker that I'm going to explain to you, but my parents found it and confiscated it, so I don't have it. But basically, I DIY my own clothes because I'm not allowed to have like the kind of clothes that I want, and then I hide them. But this can also be like, I have low budget, I'm gonna thrift this shirt and make it look super cool, super like goth or whatever. So this can be like for like most clothes in general, not just goth style, or emo or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'm gonna get my first thing. So first off, I just have a shirt that is distressed. You can distress things very easily by simply like cutting off the hems of basically all the parts, and then I made the back way longer than the front, and it kind of just like marked like I put it on, and then I marked like where my it should be, so you can cut off all the hems, and there are a few different strategies of distressing that you can use, like cutting a bunch of slits by folding it in half somewhere, and then cutting like and that's horrible description. I'll explain it better. And I'm also gonna do a little bit more distressing on this item, but you can do that. You can also just like have a bunch of little holes by collecting a bunch of the fabric and cutting it haphazardly. And then I have this really cool thing going on with the sleeve right here that I can show in a moment, but it doesn't seem like it's showing really well when it's on the ground, of course. But I do have some stuff going on with that, so I'm gonna be showing a little bit on how I did that. And you can just Google, honestly, how to distress things, because you can just find a crazy amount of things like, oh, how to cut up your clothes, easy ways to distress things. You can find like so many different videos. And then I watched this one person who's like video, I'm gonna link down below, that I watched a tutorial to do that shirt, which is way better than what I can do, but mine's gonna be shorter. So I'm gonna show you the earrings that I made next, and then after that I'm gonna go into more detail about the shirt. So you can just come back at that point. So I made these super cool, super easy, like DIY tarot card earrings, and I wanted to do the kind of thing where like the tarot card was hanging from a safety pin, but that didn't work, so I put an earring back in between that. So here's how I basically did this, and you can do this with other objects. I poked a hole in it using the safety pin, rather than simply just like stabbing it through there, because that made it go like this instead of like this. I tied it on there with just a piece of string in the hole that I made with the safety pin. Don't ignore this hole. It's supposed to look like this. And then because the safety pin was actually too large to fit through my earring hole, I had another earring that I simply put through this bit right here, and then I put the back on, and I swore it as an earring like this with this part sticking through. Yeah. So that is just, I don't know. It's just a cool earring thing. I did this one. I did this one for my Halloween costume. It's pretty much self-explanatory. I'm gonna show you them on now. Okay, so these are the earrings on, and they're obviously very giant. But you could add something else, or you could do it just kind of without the tarot card earring, and it still looks super cool, just a safety pin, if your safety pin doesn't fit through your earring hole. And these are just so giant because they're for my Halloween costume. It looked kind of ridiculous, but I can do anything else, just like poke a hole in literally anything, just with the safety pin or something else, and put it on. You can make earrings, but out of basically everything. If you have like those little earring things that you can use, or just safety pins. Safety pins are great because you just put an earring through there, and you can just stab something through or tie it through. It's just a really easy idea for an earring, and these look ridiculous, I know. Okay, so this is the shirt. It's kind of hard to tell everything's going on with it, but it just kind of stops right above the pants right here, which I really like. And then it gets longer around the side, which is another cool thing. And here's the arm bit. And then it's supposed to just end right here, but I cut a thumb hole really quickly, and then I put my pinky through this bit of it to make it look like this. And I like the way it works. So this side I actually twisted it when I was weaving it through, which I'm not gonna show you how to weave it through in this one, but it's kind of like cutting slits and just weaving. But except this one's like twist, weave, twist, weave. And this one was I was simply weaving it without a twist. I like this side better. It was just like through lots of slits. And then I did the same thing with the thumb hole and the pinky hole right here, which I really like because if I'm wearing this as like an undershirt and you can just see the arms, this is something cool to just stick out. So that's that bit, and you can see the stretching here. Usually it's good to avoid like areas that you don't want the stretching to be on, but I got a bit carried away. So I usually layer this like on top of a tank top, although you could wear it just without anything underneath. I added some to the back as well for some reason. And then, yeah, the hems are all cut off. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I'm gonna now be showing you a few ways to distress your shirt just the two really easy ways that I know. I'm not going over this stuff, only just the distressing bits. So yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to be showing you how to distress it in a simple way, and don't worry, you will be able to tell it even though it's from a weird angle. So I'm getting the back of my shirt, and you only want to get one layer of it, not the front and the back, only the back or the front, okay? And then once you have that, for this first kind of distressing where it gives you like the circle things, that kind of distressing, you're going to want to get a little bit of fabric and kind of twirl around, kind of haphazardly, just add little bits from here, from there, and keep twirling it until I have a nice amount like this. And then what you're gonna want to do is get scissors. I have fabric scissors. The only difference is that they're a little bit sharper, and so they cut more a little bit better on fabric, not on carpet. So once you have this, you take little snips. It can be a bit larger the larger snips are, the larger the holes are. But the thing is, you want to get lots of different places of it pretty randomly. So I'm just going to snip, 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 snip. Okay, so I'm going to show you what that looks like now. But I recommend not doing very much in each individual place. It might take a while, but it'll look better. There we go. Those are a few cool holes. And then something I could do is always stretch it afterwards. Don't stretch it too hard, but it just makes it kind of fold inwards on itself, kind of. And I think it makes it look cooler after you stretch it. Just in general. But this is more of a rule for the other kind. So that's what that kind of distressing looks like. You kind of want to do it pretty haphazardly and just not think a whole bunch for this one. Okay. Now for the second kind of distressing, which I actually like better than this one. 1 second. So for this second kind of distressing, it makes it into long things like this bit right here. So you can pretty much tell what that is. Just the lines. So here's what I do for that. You take one half of the shirt, remember, not the top and the bottom, but only one bit, and you fold it in half. Just a bit of it, get a chunk, and fold it in half. Once you have this chunk that I fold in half, I hold it with my fingers like this, kind of weird, and then I snip. So this might feel a bit scary, but they should be be about the same size, and you can be doing it kind of a triangle way. I could put it down for this bit, so I'm going to put it down on the ground. Can't see this at all, can you? Okay, how do I show? Like this, see? Just a bunch of slits, and then you let go of it and bring it straight again, so it looks like this. Sorry, this is not showing up very well on camera, but you can kind of see where I'm going with that. And after that, this one's very important, you must stretch it out. So now, this is what it looks like. So the thicker these are, of course, the thicker that the spaces in between are going to be, but you can always make it thinner. And just, yeah, that was a kind of bad tutorial for the second half. But hopefully that helped out with something. So those are the two main ways of distressing rather than simply cutting off the cuffs. So yeah. I hope that was helpful to you. This one was kind of just like I cut a hole in it. I was trying to do the one where it's like the different strips of it. But yeah, this is what it should look like. You just cut strips pretty thinly. So, yeah. I'm going to explain how I made a choker to you, but I do not have an image of this. It's kind of just like a spike choker, kind of. It's like one with like the black fabric or leather and has the spikes pointing out, the silver ones all the way around. And I saw this genius way to do it on the internet. This was not my idea, but I'm going to explain to you how I did it, kind of. And I have the things that I cut the materials off of. First up, I have the school studded belt, which I cut the end off of. This is for the material for the choker, because this belt was too long to make anyway. So I just cut it off for the material that the spikes would go on. And then next, for the spikes, I got household nails that I nailed into it. So I had a long stretch of leather, and I kind of just hammered nails through it. And I hammered it onto a hard surface, which you're obviously going to need. You're going to need a hammer, nails. I used about 12 for mine, I think. It was like 12 or 15 to wrap all the way around. And then the best thing to do is to get a piece of fabric that goes like a bit longer than your neck. So then you can have like a bit that overlaps, and you can put a nail through one of the holes to close it. I'm not making much sense. I use safety pins to close mine. This is where I hammer the nails into it. So you just hammer it all across the stretch of the fabric, and then you put it around your neck. So yeah. Also, one nice way to distress things, add safety pins to them, just like haphazardly. It adds a little bit of flair and it looks really cool on whatever you put it on. Like I have a jacket covered in pins, and I have a few safety pins on it of like varying different sizes. Works well too. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope that this was helpful in some way. And remember, a better tutorial for how to distress things and how to cut the cool things that was on the arm of my shirt. I linked that down below. Someone who is actually like a fashion person thing. I don't know. But yeah, watch that, and you can find lots of cool tutorials of how to cut up shirts really easily. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Goodbye.